Tiruvan Sarnai, Arana Hansa. Tiruvan Sarnai, Mehin Hansa.
Teruvan Saranai, Teruvan, sorry, my mic is off. Teruvan Saranai, dear friends of Dhamma, welcome to our English Home Talk. First, we would like to pay our Buddha spiritual Dhamma guidance teacher, and we also like to thank you for attending this Dhamma Home Talk. Mainly about discussing Dhamma. In the teaching of Buddha, the past is mentioned as Perasanya Navasanya. Past signal, new signal. Means that whatever we remember now, it is not from the past. It is information created only at this very moment. Nothing has come from the past. A park takes place with the information, and it takes place only at this moment. This information that we consider as past memory is all a supreme position, layers of images of information that is available in on spark, with which it also includes an illusion of the self. This spark happens moment to moment. It is not continuous thing. This illusion of self is felt only from moment to moment. And this illusion of self is felt like we are living. And think feeling of self is illusion. This supreme position of feeling of self is called chittaropana. Feelings of supreme position of tables, chairs, sun, moon, trees, leaves are made up by the coming together of the stimuli of color and sound. This superimposed thing gives us an illusory feel that they are all real, that they are true, and that they exist. The spark is like a current that gives a feeling that we are alive and that we exist. Within the duality of I exist and outside exist, we create an asmimane. Asmimane means it is the feelings of this is me. It is mine and I am living. With this feeling of me, we got attached to thing outside and it is called Nandi Ragya. This strengthens the me concept even more, creating the not next moment is of illusory self again. Within this illusory moment of self feeling, all information is included. It includes the sun, the moon, and everything else. We now look up at the sky. We know that the ground is below us. When we look at the brick wall in the room, we already assume all the other things of the room in the room, like the bed, the chair, and the table are there. There is only one thought at one moment, but trillions of information is within that one thought. When we say to see the truth in a thought, it means to realize with wisdom that this thought is a lie, it is an illusion. To understand the truth about a thought, you have complete what how a thought created. It is us who name the shape as a book. We will always see, hear, taste, smell, feel things. Spark take place at all times. We seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling. It does not stop, and we cannot stop in either. When you look at the mirror, we don't believe that the images are real because we are aware that these images are not true. Likewise, even when all the senses bring us various stimuli, sparks, you should be aware that they are not from the past, but the information was created only at this moment. We must be aware that there is nothing as the past. If we remember the past, it happens only at this moment because it's the very thought that is formed. It is immediately, totally destroyed. Just like how any other spark would burn out immediately. We should have a very good understanding about this moment. If you have a very good understanding about this moment, then you will understand that it happens to spark at this moment. Once you understand about the spark, you will know what happens to a thought which also a spark. There's a spark that takes place at our senses as long as we breathe. Your senses will always be igniting with spark. When we stop breathing, the senses also stop giving off spark. Now that we have established that there is no past, let us move. Let us move on to our next part of the discussion about how to find me in every thought. When somebody has diabetes and they might have a amputate a toe on a foot, and later they might have a heart bleed. Sometimes he might lose both his legs. He might lose an arm, or he might also lose both arms. Now, who would lose these limbs? He would think that he lost his limbs. You might say that you lost a leg, that you lost a finger, that you lost both legs. You might say that you lost both your arms. Is this body yours? Isn't your only a thought? It is the thought and idea. It is the mind that does this, not the body. When the mind stops, the body is built. The mind means is always emitting spark. Now where is me? Where is no me? Whom did I name as I to a thought, isn't it? When a spark takes place at the sight sense alter book, dear my friends of Dhamma, they are always we are practicing Dhamma in our day-to-day life, and also we practicing Pratipadava. When we practice in our day-to-day life, we always face some errors of Dhamma or some problems. We want to get a solution. Our Buddha Father, Dhamma guide, spiritual Dhamma guide, and teacher always ready to get a solution and the real path. Then we then say joined with us till we about Dhamma. Tiruvan Saranai, Tiruvan Saranai.
Tiruvan Saranai, Aryan Mahansa. May I pay homage at your feet? Tiruvan Saranai, Meherin Mahansa.
Tiruvan Saranai.
Tiruvan Saranai, everyone. At this moment, a miraculous preaching is taking place in the small island of Sri Lanka. It is called Buddhotpadu Sermons. Now, it's not a secret to the world. This is the pure practical path to Nibbana, which was preached by Lord Buddha 2600 years ago. True Dhamma has awakened. These preachings are going on for about 4 years now. So everyone who were thirsty for true Dhamma are now taking sips to satisfy their thirst for Dhamma. Everyone who did not know the true Dhamma for a long time now automatically preaches Buddhotpado sermons. True Dhamma cannot be hidden. People who listen to it are comforted day by day because of the true Buddha's sermons. They feel the internal change which is taking place now. They feel the defilements are fading permanently, not temporarily. So many years we used to listen to preachings about heaven and hell. And if you want to go to heaven, you should do meritorious deeds and so on. Now, true Dhamma is shining in the moment. The moment when the last breath is taken from you, which will surely come to you one day. If you feel that the world is real, even in that last moment, the fear and pain of leaving that world, including breath, again you inherit a similar origin after the death. So we have an endless journey of birth and death because, as Buddhotpado Aryan Mahansa explains, it's a frequent system. We are not talking about the death of the body, as you can see for yourself. Even in the dead body, one can see that there is an eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. Did you think for a moment what is not there? So, the dead body has everything that we have. So, what's the difference? Why do we say that he is dead? So, where is the mind? The senses are not working, and so is the mind. We tell that person is dead. Can you realize this truth? Can you imagine the risk we are in? If you have taken the world as real, if you didn't know true Dhamma, if you didn't know what's never heard before Dhamma, actually, if you didn't know what's dependent origination Dhamma as a Buddhist, then we are in the risk. Then you can't prevent from being born again because we are in the karmapala bhumi. So Lord Buddha has shown us a way to finish that terrible journey of life, birth, and death. The day you can conquer the death is the day you will realize that death is also a thought. Then death won't be a challenge anymore. So if we could realize the truth of this one thought, and thought is an illusion, a mirage, the thought has no sense at all, then death is no longer a challenge. If we say that this world you see is a world created in your own eye, would you believe it? Obviously, you will say, how is that? See, I can see with my own eyes. Yes, but Lord Buddha said it's your own mind creation and you can't go out of your mind. Oh, actually, what you think is in outside, that's not true. The mind is the experience of all the five senses: eyes, ears, tongue, nose, and body, which creates the mind consciousness. Our eyes cannot see external colors. Colors are formed in our own eyes. Likewise, sound, smell, taste, and touch are formed within the senses. It's not an external experience. That's our wrong notion. Our wrong notion is that we think that the external images are visible to our eyes, but it's a big delusion. If you want to get rid of this samsara, you have to understand this. This is a phenomena, a natural phenomena. No other way out of it. We can never experience what we see outside. We don't say there is no outside. What we say is that we can never experience what is outside. It's only an experience of our senses. There's nothing comes from outside. This is a very important point, that there's nothing comes from outside. What we see is our own mind, which is created by our own senses. So as human beings, we have 6 senses, but various types of animals have their own sense system. Say the cockroach has feelers. Feelers are their sensors to identify the vibrations. The dogs, they can hear far better than humans, and they can smell far better than humans. And cats, they have night vision. The eyes can focus better in the dark. Their whiskers act as radar sensors. They also have a great sense of smell and hearing too. The serpents, in the other hand, they possess a unique sensory system detecting infrared radiation. They generate the thermal images. And if you take a worm, they usually live underground, aren't they? And they have skin sensation only. But a new study has identified that they have a microscopic antenna-shaped sensor, which helps them to orient themselves underground. If you take a bee, for instance, they have temperature and humidity sensors. We usually we don't have that. They also can see the ultraviolet spectrum, which humans cannot see. And cows, they have a limited range of colors. They see red as a variation of these colors. A fly. A fly has a compound eye. Unlike a human eye, it has lots of individual lenses which focus the incoming light. So, as you see, according to each type of animal, each animal experiences the world according to its senses. They have their own world and they live in their own world. So, as you see, every living being creates their own world according to their senses. If we take a human being, this happens due to speedy vibrations. Even the light we see is created by the speed of vibrations. What we experience is not the light of sun and moon. The nature is just a lot of vibrations. This is a world created by vibrations. It's a world created from the senses according to the nature of each animal. So, nature is not a land of mountains, lands or mountains, rivers and streams. So, life is so limited, isn't it? Death can happen at any time, but we tend to think of it as something for the future, usually quite distant. To make it real, we need to understand that death is always in our presence. It is so close, it is a possibility. As Buddhotpado Arana says, me antima husma binduai. Imagine yourself on your deathbed. How do you behave towards the people around you? You think you are leaving them and you can't leave this outside world. So what happens is you are leaving your own world you have created. And what is the wonder in Buddhotpada sermons? What happens? Actually, you won't find death. Isn't it wonderful? Yes. If you follow Buddhotpada's sermons, you will come to know that death is also merely a thought. This is an Anatma doctrine, isn't it? So who is there to die? Contemplate on this. All are thoughts. Death is also a thought. And a thought, as you know by now, is an illusion. It's a mirage. So actually, everywhere you look, you see the truth shown by Lord Buddha. Your own mind is found everywhere. It's only your lack of wisdom to see this truth. If you don't see this truth about yourself, it's useless if you lived 1,000 years. For many centuries, the true message of the Buddha was hidden. It's again opened up to the world by Buddhotpada Aryan. Actually, it's a blessing for the whole world. We feel that Buddhotpada Aryan has come to carry forward the message suitable for the modern world, starting from where Lord Buddha has left off. All this moment when the whole world is headed for destruction, your only rescue is to work up to this true Dhamma. So you have to experience it yourself by being practical in Dhamma. This is not faith. This only can be experienced by experience that your defilements are slowly fading. So we'll explain this again, how the mind is created. The creation of this mental image or chitta rupa due to vibrations is called rupane by Lord Buddha. The Buddha said, the light, the sound, smell, taste, heat, and hot and cold all fell together because of the speedy vibration. It's actually a natural process and not external. Nothing coming from outside. You have to remember this, that nothing coming from outside. Even the light and sound is a creation due to this. Rupantiko Ayuso Rupa. That is Lord Buddha's word. And so many years we were in the thought of that the Rupa or form is coming from outside. Till Buddhotpada Aryan pointed out that it is not so. All these are perceptions or sanya. There is nothing in the light or nothing in the sound. What happens here is when the sound, color, smell, taste, and touch are felt together, another vibration occurs. This is actually cause and effect, Dhamma. Because when the sound, color, smell, taste, and touch are felt together, you get the feeling of existence. This existent feeling is in another way is the soul feeling or the Atma Bhava. So all this happens due to a high speed. So the speed of vibrations, when all these are felt together, a current or a charge is created by itself. It's created automatically. No one is doing this. This is what you should understand. No one is doing this. It's a self created illusion. You have to contemplate on this. The feeling of existence is the so called soul. Actually, there is no soul. Remember, it's a anatma dhamma. When you contemplate on this, the wisdom arises. That is not thoughts. Thoughts take you in samsara. As our spiritual guidance teacher, Buddhotpado Aryan Mahansa, explains, you can't attain Nibbana with thoughts. The path to Nibbana lies in getting rid of thoughts and open up to the wisdom or jnana. For a long time, we thought that we cannot attain Nibbana in this time. But now we know anybody can attain Nibbana in this time too. What you have to do is to follow the practical guidance which Buddhotpada Aryan Mahansa is showing us. So the real Buddhist is the one who sees Bhava Nirodha or Salayatana Nirodha. He sees that there is no self, no Sattva Bhava. That's the real Buddhist. So, as followers of Buddhotpada sermons, now you know Lord Buddha told about the doctrine of cause and effect, Hetupala Dhamma, not action and effect, Karmapala. Ye Dhamma Hetupabhava. The Blessed One preaches the Dhamma of cause and effect. So, according to this statement, it is very clear that Lord Buddha taught about the doctrine of cause and effect, not the action, action and effect. Anyone can think if he does a good deed, he will get good merits, and a bad deed, bad merits. But he is not a Buddhist. He is in the Karma Palabhumi and obviously go on samsara. He is a Buddhist for the namesake only. He does not know Buddha's teaching. So, what you should understand here is that the true Dhamma revealed by Lord Buddha is not caught by thoughts. You need wisdom and you have to get help from Kalyana Mitranan Mahansa, who has gone through this path and preaching through experience. As is said repeatedly, this is not knowledge. This is the true Dhamma, which has been buried in ground over time. So Buddhotpada Aryan Mahansa is preaching this absolute truth to the world for about 4 years now with Dhamma Abhijna, which is quite difficult to find these days and difficult to achieve. So we are very fortunate to find a spiritual guidance teacher who has gone in the practical path and now educating the world on the correct path by Satya, Krutya, Krutakjnana, or understanding, followed by seeing, and followed by relaxation. It is now given to the world by Pratyaksha Jnana. So actually there are no any differences of nationality to understand this true Dhamma. If you have a mind, you can get rid of that mind too. Now we will talk a bit about the mind. Actually there is no existing mind. But not understanding the nature of the mind brings us suffering, isn't it? Lord Buddha said, Manopubbanga ma Dhamma. We have learned this from school days, didn't we? But most of us didn't understand the real meaning of it. And we'll see how it is created. So, to get rid of suffering, we should understand the nature of the mind. Therefore, what we have to do is to realize the truth about mind and know that the world is a mere appearance in the mind. Salayatana loko. The vibrations of the five faculties creates the world. The world, the illusion or the mirage is a mind creation. The beauty and the ugliness do not live in the material things but in our minds. You have to understand that mind cannot drink water, mind can't eat. We think that mind can, we are drinking, I am eating, and we are in a self-centered world. We think there is an outside world. As our spiritual guidance teacher, Buddhotpada Arana always repeat and say that the world is created through the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. The world created like that is relative to each individual and each animal. This is the illusion or the Vijnana Maya. That is what we don't see. But the day you capture this illusion is the day you are out of all your sufferings. So this is a self-understanding process. As Lord Buddha said, you have to make your own trap. Actually, it is your life story. This is the way you were created. The creation of myself, me, soul, or ego. You can never say that Dhamma is somewhere and I am somewhere because you are the Dhamma. You are the Dhamma itself. You can't separate Dhamma or the world and you. Lord Buddha has told to Rohitasa, you can't find world from outside. Look towards you. It's in yourself. Actually, Dhamma or world is you, yourself. You can't separate it from each other. And also, Lord Buddha said, one who sees Dhamma will see me. Now you can understand what Lord Buddha has meant by that, isn't it? So we have to be crystal clear that no one can see the outside world other than our own mind. You should study this absolute truth first by knowledge and then by putting into practice. Whatever country, whatever race, whatever religion you belong to, if you have a mind, a thought arises. Actually, do you think that there is really something that exists as mind? We feel there is an existing mind because of the speed which our thoughts flow. Can you even show an exact place where the mind is? Actually, there is no place where the mind exits. It arises and disappears, then and there. Buddhist philosophy shows how the mind is created and ends up to show that there is no thing called mind. The mind is created in a fraction of a second due to vibration of five senses and disappears then and there. We'll go back to the radiant mind. Baby 2 says something. He gets the vibration to five senses. So he sees something. He hears something. He smells something. He tastes something. He feels something too. He is feeling there is something too, but he can't identify what is it. Why? We too came from that thing, isn't it? So we have to contemplate again because the five senses should get together to create the mind. So he is still not experiencing the world. He does not have defilements yet. So when he is hungry, he cries. When he feels uneasy, he cries, and so on. He can express himself only by crying, isn't it? So the mind has to be created to make the words, which happens in the nursery time. His world is not created. His soul, me, myself, ego is not yet created. It's actually a natural phenomena. For decades, we did not know there is this natural phenomena even. The actual pure Lord Buddha's doctrine until Buddhotpada Varanvahasa revealed it again to the world. We tried to find this out from books, didn't we? How many books we have read? How many temples we have gone to? How many preachers we have listened to? So I think we all did that. But as the saying goes, the one who search will find it. We found the true Dhamma at last. Actually, though we thought we have to go and find Nibbana somewhere, and we searched all over the world, it was always with us, within, until Buddhotpada Aranvahasa pointed it out. So, this is about your own life story, isn't it? About how your mind is created, how to end suffering, how to be happy. We can't find it anywhere. Even we searched the whole world, it was always with us. That's Lord Buddha's doctrine. And that's what our spiritual guidance teacher, Buddhotpada Aranvahasa, is revealing to us. Path to Nibbana is simple and pleasant. What actually you have to do is to find yourself. So, are you still running around searching for true Dhamma? So, come, listen and contemplate. Look at your own mind. See how it is created. See why you are suffering and how to get rid of suffering. Actually, at first, we too didn't understand. But eventually, when you started listening to Buddhotpada sermons, little by little, we felt that our defilements are fading away. As Buddhotpada Aranvahasa always points out, always it's the way, share Dhamma, Vaidhamma. Ultimately, you will understand that the world is I or me, a concept. There are no separate entities. The puzzle will be solved. All the pieces will fall into their places. That's why Lord Buddha said, Salayatana loko loko, Salayatana nirodho nibbana. So we were talking about world and I. This is the place which we have to understand thoroughly. What is this I? Myself, soul, ego. How it is created? How is this illusion created? The world and I created by the vibrations is a wonderful illusion, isn't it? So how can this be an illusion? We think we see the outside world, isn't it? But Lord Buddha says it is a creation of our mind. So as Buddhists, shouldn't we stop for a while and contemplate what Lord Buddha is trying to say? So past decades, there was no one to explain this properly. Now we have a spiritual guidance teacher who has gone through this path and gives us proper practical guidance, shows us the pitfalls, and helps us to come out of it. So it is time to get rid of that mundane world and see the Arya Bhumi, where even you don't find death, no suffering. Yes, it might be a bit difficult first, but then you will find eternal bliss, don't you? So again, if we look at how the mind is created, it's due to the vibration of sparks at sensor levels. Due to these rapid vibrations of sparks, sounds, color, smell, taste, all will come get together, which generates a current. The current which was generated due to the sparks. As humans, a three-dimensional view or a charge, a feeling that something is there is created. And that we identify as a book due to the telepathy system. Actually, if we didn't know the sound book, we won't get a form to that sound. This creation is just a thought. If I say coconut tree, you imagine a coconut tree, won't you? So you got the image or the sound. But if I say kniga, you won't get an image for that sound. But if you know the language earlier, you would know what it meant, and you will have the image. Or if I say dai minik nigu, you won't understand because it's another language. You don't have a form to that sound too. You will say, I don't understand. So if you learn that language someday, you will know the meaning. Actually, kniga in Russian is the book. Дай мне книга is give me the book. Likewise, that's how we learned at the nursery. We were shown pictures and given a sound repeatedly. That's how the I-ness was made. What we have to understand here is that it is a natural process. Like a plant growing naturally, nobody inside is doing this. Now we'll see how this illusionary I-ness, me or ego, is created. First, you should know everywhere you see, when you look around, you see the truth, which is Dhamma. Dhamma and you are not two different entities. Dhamma is you and you are Dhamma. You find your own mind everywhere. It is only your lack of wisdom to see this truth. So you have to see this absolute truth about yourself always. Lord Buddha said, don't look for others, look for yourself. Find yourself, isn't it? So, how is this ego created? With a radiant mind, we did not have any ego, did we? Obviously not. We didn't. We didn't know even who are we. So, we'll take an example. So, example is take the time at nursery time. Imagine we had a color pencil. So, somebody at home, usually the mother, tells, this is your pencil and keep it for yourself. Don't break it. Don't give it to others. Don't lose it. And so many stories about the pencil. So ultimately, the pencil becomes me and my pencil, mine. So then what happens? If another child wants a pencil, that child won't share it because now there is a value to that pencil. With that thought creates ego or soul. I have a beautiful pencil, and that boy doesn't have a beautiful pencil. I shouldn't give my pencil to him. I shouldn't share it. Likewise. So we see this every day, isn't it? Now suppose the mother said to the child, share this pencil, share the food, share the books with other children. Obviously, he would grow up to be a person who would like to share things with others. So, the more value you give to things and people, the more attachment and more difficult to get detached from them. Means more thoughts about them. And if you break these things or lose things or lose people, you get suffering a lot. Suffering is inevitable. So now you know that you are suffering due to a thought. And until you see the truth of this one thought, you will have this endless samsara. Actually, if you take a small child, his mind is still very pure. He does not have any jealousy, greed, or anger towards anyone. But when he grows up and join the race which parents are running, he get all the defilements in the world, and in later depression, anxiety, and so on. They were given lots of targets from the childhood. So they run since childhood, run the race, and get sick sooner. Actually, they fulfill parents' targets, aren't they? The child even doesn't know why he is running. Obviously, he grows up like a machine without human qualities, with a big ego. In everything they do, the I-ness or ego comes forward. They might be successful in life, but mentally, mostly, they are not. This ego or I-ness is very difficult to catch. It can rise in many ways and drag you to samsara. The ego or I-ness or soul is the existent feeling or the feeling of things existing. Buddha's path is to eradicate this ego completely. And also, as Lord Buddha said, ego could make you become a dog or a monkey. So, ego is the greatest fire in the world, which is nothing but defilements. So, what you have to know is that fading away defilements is also fading away the false ego or me. So, in this Nibbana path, the last thing is to dissolve is also ego. So, it's very important to find out how the ego arises and follow the path to uproot it. Until you destroy this ego, you won't be free from samsara. So, how can you get rid of this false ego or me? What you have to do is to see the truth in every thought, that there is nothing in a thought. The moment you realize this truth, you don't give value to that thought. You know how a thought is created, and there's no existing mind as such. It's an illusion, a mirage. The moment you realize this truth, the flames of desire, anger, and delusion in the mind will get extinguished. If there is a mind, there is desire, anger, and delusion. The mind is available means the book is available. The book is you, you are the book. The mind is available means the book is available. The book is available means the mind is available. Likewise, everything is available. The child, the home, everything. But if one says this mind is not true, it is the start of diminishing desire, anger, and delusion. Then the mind begins to purify like the radiant mind. Up till now, like a slave, you did everything what your mind had told you to do. How much you worked for the mind at the last moment, the same mind does not bear any responsibility for what it asks you to do. One murders another because the mind wants and asks him to do it. But this mind does not take responsibility for the outcome. So we'll see how the mind works. For example, we prefer to watch TV. So while watching TV, the desire, anger, and the delusion are getting increased. While watching a drama in the TV, we are getting angry, sorrowful, happy. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. Each and every moment of this, we increase the defilements, desire, anger, and delusion, all while watching this TV in front of us. But after we see the truth, we are able to perform all these activities as usual without getting caught to our mind. When we realize Dhamma, or that there is nothing in a thought, there won't be any attachment or detachment to anything. Also, when we understand this Dhamma, we won't have any blind faith or amulika shraddha, but we'll have faith based on wisdom. We will accept gain and loss, good repute, ill repute, pain and pleasure, accept everything and anything. What is important here is the necessity of extinguishing the flames of defilements. So without removing ego, Nibbana cannot be achieved. So the inner transformation or the spiritual change cannot be achieved or experienced by just thinking of it. When thoughts run in the mind, you do not feel the concept of self. What we should know is we only associate our thoughts due to vibration, sounds, colors, taste, smell, and taste. Touch are created. These are merely sparks. So we have to understand this is a natural process. No one does it. We have to understand this with wisdom. Everything is created by illusion in the mind consciousness. You do your daily routine, daily duties, but not get attached to anything. Things just come and go because you can't get anything from a passing thought. We have given names as trees, flowers, and so on. Names are given by us. There is no truth in this. This is an illusion. There is nothing in the sounds and colors. The world is an illusion. So, the common idea of the mundane world people is I am living and I am dying. Even animals are in the same level of thinking. So, as we told earlier, no one can achieve Nibbana with just knowledge. The true understanding comes with the keen observation and contemplation. So, we are very fortunate to have a chance to listen to this pure doctrine, as this pure Dhamma is given to the world by someone who has completely understood and experienced it. People who preach only with knowledge cannot preach true Dhamma. So we have to observe with full awareness how the notion of self, I-ness, ego comes out in every moment, in every step we take. We have to observe how we are getting free from all defilements of the sensual world. When you experience the freedom, not focusing on the outside objects, you will know how the inner fire or the stress disappears. When you experience this situation more and more, you will be able to continuously have peace. No more burning mental sensations. So, as you understand now, it is very important to have the true knowledge first. You must know exactly how the mind consciousness is constructed by listening to Dhamma. Listen to Dhamma discourses offered by Buddhotpado Aryan Mahansa. Buddhotpado Aryan Mahansa always talks about this, and this must be accomplished thoroughly. You also have to understand what defilements are and how they get faded. You have to observe in this manner. So, likewise, I had anger before, I listened to the Dhamma, and now I do not get angry. Oh, and if I'm not craving for food like I did before. Even the senses are working in a normal manner. You have to realize to what extent the defilements are fading. But here a bit difficult is to understand the mind sensor. If you feel that is only a thought and the nature of the thought is coming and going, there is nothing to think about. The taste is experienced by the tongue. That is only a sensor. However, if you crave for more, for example, mango, yes, then the notion of self exists. So, what we have to understand here is as long as someone has defilements, which means raga, dvesha, moha, that person cannot escape birth and death, which means as long as the outside world is true, or we live in the mundane world, that means we live in a fantasy world. So we know this example already, which is when a dog sees his reflection in a pool of water, the image he sees is real to him. He believes that there is another dog inside the water. Just like this, mundane people think that they can find objects in the outside world, the world of colors and forms created in your eyes cannot be found anywhere. There is nothing you can get from the outside world. So, what you have to practice is the insight meditation. With the insight meditation, a person begins to realize that there is no truth in the thoughts that occur from moment to moment. This is examining the true nature of the mind or a thought in a given moment. A thought comes and goes. There is no truth in the thought. Buddha's doctrine is completely dependent on the dependent origination. So, fortunately, today, insight meditation and Buddha's core doctrine, which is the doctrine of the dependent origination, is available to you through Buddhotpada discourses. When the dependent origination is fully understood within the activity and knowledge of how a thought is created, liberation also inevitably happens. So, no matter how long your journey appears to be, there is never more than one step, one breath, and one moment. So, I think it is enough for today. We will meet again tomorrow. Theruvan Saranai Aryan Wahanse, do you want to add anything? Theruvan Saranai.
Saranai, මෙහෙණින් වහන්ස. තෙරුවන් සරණයි everyone. I think Uddotpada Aryan Wahanse is not there today. So we will conclude our session for today. Therwan Sarna everyone.